WBC President Mauricio Suleiman has officially confirmed that Dmitry Bivol must defend his light heavyweight title against the dangerous David Benavidez. Both camps have been given until April 8th to reach an agreement. If they fail to do so, the fight will head to a purse bid, setting the stage for one of the biggest clashes the division has seen in years. Benavidez's promoter, Samson Lukovic, admitted that the WBC's decision came as a surprise. He revealed that just one night earlier, he had already submitted a major financial offer to Bivol's legal team in hopes of securing the fight as quickly as possible. However, according to Lukovic, Bivol's camp has not yet responded, leaving negotiations at a standstill and creating uncertainty about whether the bout will move forward. Despite the silence, Lukovic remains optimistic. Speaking to Boxing Scene, he explained that perhaps someone within Bivol's team has more information than he does and expressed hope that a response could arrive at any moment. His comments suggest that while negotiations have slowed, the possibility of reaching an agreement is still very much alive. With millions of dollars potentially on the line, every conversation and every decision carries enormous weight. Benavidez's team appears eager to finalize the deal, believing this is the perfect opportunity for their fighter to challenge for another world title. Meanwhile, the lack of communication from Bivol's side has fueled speculation that the champion may be carefully evaluating his options, negotiating better terms, or considering alternative opportunities before making his final decision. The boxing world is now watching every development closely because the outcome of these negotiations will determine whether fans finally get to witness this blockbuster showdown. Expectations continue to rise as both fighters are regarded as two of the very best in the light heavyweight division, making this one of the most anticipated matchups in boxing today. However, just as the negotiations appeared to be moving in the right direction, an unexpected twist complicated the entire situation. Turki Alashik, one of the most influential figures behind boxing's biggest recent events, and someone who had previously shown strong interest in making the fight happen, suddenly announced that he was stepping away from the negotiations altogether. Alashik made his position clear by stating that he was no longer interested in the Bivol versus Benavidez fight and would not participate in any purse bid. He also added that Bivol knows exactly who has supported him throughout his career and warned the champion not to delay his decision because the boxing landscape changes every single day. His unexpected comments immediately sparked speculation throughout the boxing community. Reports soon emerged suggesting that discussions between Alashik and PBC, the promotional company representing Benavidez, may have reached a deadlock due to conflicting broadcasting interests. According to those reports, PBC preferred to stage the fight on Amazon Prime, while Alashik reportedly wanted it to be part of a DAZN event. This disagreement over television rights appears to have become one of the biggest obstacles in the negotiations, transforming what initially seemed like a straightforward deal into a complicated power struggle involving multiple promoters, broadcasters, and business interests. With Alashik stepping aside, responsibility for keeping the fight alive now rests with PBC, Matchroom, and any remaining interested bidders. If an agreement cannot be reached before the deadline, both fighters may be forced to explore different opponents, leaving fans disappointed once again. The coming days will be absolutely critical. They will determine whether this highly anticipated championship showdown finally becomes reality or collapses under the pressure of boxing politics and business negotiations. Beyond the fight itself, Alashik's withdrawal has also triggered widespread debate about his growing influence in the sport. Many observers believe he originally entered boxing with the goal of breaking down long-standing promotional barriers and creating the biggest fights possible. However, critics now argue that some of his recent decisions resemble the very business practices he once promised to change.
You know, because Turkey basically used Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren to bring in this Trojan horse into boxing, and then he just basically let them out to dry and got with Dana, who has no history in boxing, used Fertitta money to take over a sport that had no competition really at that time aside from pride. And so it was a lot easier to take over that sport.
These recent developments have raised growing concerns about Turki Alashik's influence and long-term vision for the future of boxing. While he originally presented himself as someone determined to bring the sport's biggest stars together and deliver the fights fans have been waiting for, his latest decisions suggest that maintaining control may now be taking priority over building cooperation across the sport. His unexpected partnership with UFC President Dana White, after previously working alongside leading boxing promoters such as Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren, has only intensified those concerns. Instead of creating unity among boxing's major organizations, critics believe his recent moves may actually be pushing the sport further apart. If this pattern continues, many fear that his legacy could become more controversial than revolutionary. Former world champion Paulie Malignaggi expanded on those concerns by questioning Alashika's latest strategy and his growing relationship with Dana White. According to Malignaggi, Alashik initially appeared to be someone capable of transforming boxing, but his recent decisions have left many wondering whether he fully understands how the sport truly operates behind the scenes. Unlike mixed martial arts, where Dana White successfully built the UFC into a dominant organization, boxing has always been structured very differently. The sport is built around multiple promoters, television networks, sanctioning bodies, and competing business interests. Because of that, applying the UFC model to boxing is far more complicated than many people realize. Malignaggi argued that boxing's long-established structure cannot simply be replaced overnight. Every major fight requires cooperation between several different organizations, making negotiations far more difficult than they are in MMA. That reality continues to present major challenges for anyone hoping to completely reshape the sport.
It's never really had a fighter say many good things about him, Dana White, so I think he's going to have a hard time just in that regard alone, because boxing is, it's fragmented, there's a lot to work on, but boxing is also a sport that has a big foundation, and so it's going to be hard to break that under the business model that Dana thinks he's going to break it under. And then Turkey, personally, in small words, I think Turkey got on the wrong horse, essentially.
Challenges have led many observers to question whether Turkey Alashika's vision for boxing is truly realistic. While Dana White's business model proved extremely successful in mixed martial arts, many experts believe that the same formula cannot simply be transferred to boxing because the sport remains deeply fragmented. With multiple promoters, competing broadcasters, sanctioning bodies, and television networks all protecting their own interests, it is nearly impossible for any single organization or individual to take complete control. Critics argue that Alashik may have underestimated just how complex boxing's business landscape really is, making his alliance with Dana White an increasingly debated decision. Paulie Malignaggi continued his criticism by pointing to what he described as a concerning pattern in Alashika's approach to making major fights. He suggested that Alashika's recent ultimatum to Dmitry Bivol closely resembles a previous situation involving Tim Tszyu, raising fresh questions about the consistency of his decision-making process. According to Malignaggi, Alashik initially appeared willing to finance and organize the biggest fights in boxing. However, his sudden changes in direction have created uncertainty among fighters, promoters, and fans alike. Whether those changes were caused by financial disagreements, contractual demands, or business disputes remains unclear, but they have undoubtedly complicated several high-profile negotiations.
Conversation point. The reason I'm bringing it up is because that red flag showed itself again last week. When he's giving Dmitry Bivol, Turkey Alashik is giving Dmitry Bivol this ultimatum, it's sort of the same kind of thing as he did with Tim Tszyu. There may be something that he didn't like about David Benavidez. There may be something that, he didn't like about, the way David Benavidez made it off, asked for too much money, or I don't know. I really don't know. I'm just, kind of taking a wild stab at this because, originally everything was on the table, right? Benavidez was going to be the mandatory for...
This latest development has added yet another layer of complexity to the ongoing negotiations between Dmitry Bivol and David Benavidez. Originally, Benavidez was expected to become the mandatory challenger for the winner of the Bivol versus Artur Beterbiev fight, placing him in a strong position to receive the next title opportunity. At first, everything seemed to be moving in the right direction, and the path toward the fight looked clear. However, the situation has now taken an unexpected turn. There has been a noticeable shift in priorities, leaving many observers divided. Some believe these changes are simply part of a larger negotiation strategy designed to strengthen each side's position. Others, however, see them as evidence of deeper disagreements taking place behind closed doors. Turki Alashik's changing approach has become one of the biggest factors influencing whether this highly anticipated fight will actually happen. Every new decision appears to reshape the direction of the negotiations, making the future of the matchup increasingly uncertain. Paulie Malignaggi continued to break down the situation, pointing to another significant change in how the Bivol versus Benavidez fight is being handled. He argued that Alashik's recent actions have effectively pushed the WBC out of the equation, despite the fact that Benavidez had officially earned mandatory challenger status under the organization's rankings. That unexpected shift has raised even more questions throughout the boxing world. Many fans and analysts are wondering why the process appears to have changed so dramatically, especially considering how the WBC previously handled Benavidez's mandatory position when he was waiting for an opportunity to face Canelo Alvarez. At that time, the mandatory challenge was never fully enforced, leaving Benavidez without the title shot many believed he had earned. Now, with a similar situation developing once again, critics are questioning whether boxing sanctioning bodies are applying their rules consistently. The uncertainty surrounding the WBC's role, combined with ongoing promotional disputes and broadcasting negotiations, has only made an already complicated situation even more difficult to resolve. As negotiations continue, every decision carries enormous consequences. Whether these changes are part of a calculated business strategy or the result of deeper conflicts behind the scenes remains unclear.
Benavidez was the mandatory. Mind you, the hypocrisy of the WBC is another conversation altogether that they don't exactly get to escape that too. The guy was mandatory for Canelo for years and nobody enforced it. All of a sudden, now they're going to enforce the Benavidez and Bivol mandatory. Why? Probably because Turki Alashik threw them to the scrap heap and decided he wasn't going to use them anymore and he's going to create his own belt. So now all of a sudden, you're going to